As the situation grows increasingly dangerous there, what can we expect him to say?
Well, Joe Biden is simply continuing to try to keep really the focus on that evacuation process, on what the Americans are doing to get those American citizens and those Afghan allies out of Afghanistan. This is going to be his third speech this week, and it's presented as an update on the status of the evacuation. And there are two reasons for that. One is that he wants to show that he's on top of the situation, that he is in charge. He actually canceled his planned trip to his home in Delaware earlier this Saturday in order to be in Washington and to show that he was really monitoring the situation hour by hour. The other reason is that really this evacuation is what is going to determine really how the American politicians as well as the American public see this withdrawal as a whole. Right now, the situation is very complicated, but if the U.S. can manage to, at the end of this evacuation process, have a sort of positive result, that is, have gotten all the Americans out, all the Afghans that they want to get out of Afghanistan, then it will be some sort of a success, and it will sort of counterbalance the chaos that we saw about a week ago and the chaos of the pullout, and sort of balance out the criticism about how the U.S., how the Biden administration really planned and executed this pullout. So really, Joe Biden is trying to show and to focus on this evacuation, on what they're doing right now to get the situation under control.
And Kedevan, he's still with that situation, as you say, still kind of chaotic. Joe Biden is under intense criticism, not only at home, but also increasingly abroad. How is he responding to that, and how is he justifying this evacuation strategy?
Well, he was actually questioned about that criticism coming from his allies abroad during his speech on Friday. And when he was asked whether there was a question of credibility of the U.S. abroad from the U.S. allies, he said, "I have seen no question of our credibility from our allies." He said that there was absolutely no sign that allies were putting into question that credibility. And he really repeated again and again that this was all done in cooperation with allies, that they had been warned ahead of time. We also saw the U.S. president really multiplying calls with those leaders, especially European leaders, whether it was the British Prime Minister, the French president, or the German chancellor. So he's trying to sort of really talk to these leaders to try to keep them in the loop. But at the same time, in the messaging, when he's trying to defend his decision, he says there is no more national interest for the United States to remain in Afghanistan. So he's also playing the we're putting America first card. And that is one of the questions that comes from the allies, which is the rhetoric was America is back, we're putting aside the Trump years, but the actions are putting into question whether America is really back.
All right, Kedevan, well, we